Power, money, fear, three words that built the empire of the cartels. These men and women once ruled like gods of the streets, but every kingdom has an end. I'm gonna tell you the mind-blowing stories of 15 of the most powerful narcos in history, how they built their empires, ruled the underworld, and then lost everything in the blink of an eye. Stick around till the end, because these stories are straight out of a movie.
Pablo Escobar, the king of Medellín.
The most infamous drug lord of all time. Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria was richer than entire countries, a man who built homes for the poor while unleashing rivers of blood. He bribed, tunneled, and ran circles around the law. But on December 2nd, 1993, a phone call from his son gave away his hideout. Colombian special forces stormed the neighborhood. Escobar ran across a rooftop, bullets chasing him. One shot to the head ended his reign. That rooftop photo became the symbol of the end of an era.
Griselda Blanco, the cocaine godmother.
The woman who turned Miami into a war zone. Known as the Black Widow, she ordered countless murders, popularizing the infamous motorcycle hit, and fate came full circle. September 2012, outside a butcher shop in Medellín, two men on a motorcycle pulled up. 2 bullets to her head, the same method she had once invented. The queen died by her own crown.
Tony Tormenta, the commander of the Gulf.
Antonio Cardenas Guillen built an army of ex-cops armed with heavy weapons and body armor. He turned Matamoros into his battlefield. November 5th, 2010 was his final day. Helicopters roared overhead, armored vehicles stormed the streets, explosions shook the city. Hours of firefight left him lying dead, his body shredded with bullets. That day, Matamoros looked like a war movie.
Ramón Arellano Félix, the mad dog of Tijuana.
Ruthless, violent, obsessed with power, Ramón lived for chaos. In February 2002, he clashed with police in Mazatlan. Bullets flew, and when the smoke cleared, Ramón was dead, along with an officer. His death shattered the Tijuana cartel's backbone.
Francisco Rafael Arellano Félix, the clown hit.
Ramon's brother, long faded from power, thought he was safe. On October 18, 2013, at his lavish birthday party in Los Cabos, a man dressed as a clown walked in. Guests laughed, thinking it was a joke, until the clown pulled a gun and shot Francisco point blank. The music stopped. The laughter turned into screams. A cartel elder executed in circus colors.
Arturo Beltrán Leyva, the boss of bosses.
Once a close ally of El Chapo, later his bitter enemy, partnering with Los Zetas, he built one of Mexico's most violent cartels. In December 2009, the Navy stormed his luxury apartment complex. The firefight was brutal, grenades and gunfire echoing through the halls. When it was over, Arturo and his men lay dead. The jefe de jefes silenced forever.
Amado Carrillo Fuentes, the Lord of the Skies.
They called him El Señor de los Cielos. With a private air fleet, he moved cocaine like airmail. He was untouchable until he tried to change his face. July 1997, during plastic surgery, his heart gave out. Some say doctors murdered him, others say his body simply couldn't take it. The King of the Skies died not in a battle, but on an operating table.
Gonzalo Rodríguez Gacha, El Mexicano.
A founding pillar of the Medellín cartel. A billionaire with a love for falcons and a taste for blood. Betrayed by his own people, he was hunted down in December 1989. As he fled his ranch, helicopters closed in. A bullet to the leg dropped him. Another to the face finished him. El Mexicano died like prey in his own hunting grounds.
Heriberto Lazcano, El Lazca.
The co-founder of Los Zetas, one of the bloodiest organizations Mexico ever saw. With a $5 million bounty on his head, he was finally tracked in October 2012 after locals reported suspicious men at a baseball game. A firefight erupted. Lazcano was killed, but then his body mysteriously vanished. Stolen, hidden, or alive, no one knows.
Pacho Herrera, the gentleman of Cali.
Helmer Pacho Herrera, the sharp-dressed economic mastermind of the Cali cartel. Always in white suits, always polished. After surrendering, he thought prison would protect him. But in November 1998, during a soccer match behind bars, an old enemy walked up, hugged him, and emptied 7 bullets into his head. In cartel life, there is no safe place, not even prison.
Nacho Coronel, the Crystal King.
Ignacio Nacho Coronel built the meth empire of the Sinaloa cartel. In July 2010, soldiers stormed his luxury villa. He fought back with gunfire, but was killed in the raid. Inside the house, they found piles of gold, cash, and weapons. The Crystal King was shattered.
El Chapo, the legendary fugitive.
Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, the name is global. Twice he escaped prison, once dressed as a cop, another time through a mile-long tunnel that stunned the world. But in January 2016, Mexican Marines caught him in Mazatlan after a violent shootout. Now he serves life in America's most secure prison, ADX Florence. No tunnels, no bribes, just concrete walls.
Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo, the Godfather.
The man who stitched Mexico's drug corridors together, known as El Padrino, Felix Gallardo built the Guadalajara cartel like a business empire, until the system he created collapsed around him. In 1989, a stunning arrest ripped him from power. Decades later, his legacy lived on in the cartels he had parceled out, even as he faced years behind bars and later restricted house arrest. The Godfather's final chapter was not a hail of bullets, but a slow end to a reign that had reshaped a nation.
Carlos Lader, the Island Lord.
He turned a private island and brazen spectacle into a cocaine runway for the Medellín cartel. Flamboyant, violent, and unapologetic. Lader's rise was cinematic, so was his fall. Arrested and extradited in the late 1980s, he spent decades in foreign prisons, deported and detained again in later years as health and the law caught up to him. The man who once threatened sovereign tables ended his story tied to courtrooms and cells, not to the throne he once occupied.
Dairo Antonio Usuga, Otoniel, the Jungle Kingpin.
A brutal strategist who controlled vast swathes of Colombia's northern corridors, Otoniel built a private army and lived like a ghost. After years on the run, he was finally cornered in October 2021, extradited to the United States. He pled, was tried, and was sentenced to decades behind bars. For a man who trafficked whole convoys of cocaine and commanded terror, the final curtain was the cold certainty of a cell and a long federal sentence.
Heriberto Rodríguez Orejuela, the Cali financier.
The quiet, suit-wearing mind behind the Cali cartel's commercial genius. Heriberto preferred deals to drama, laundering fortunes while others shot rivals. When the net finally closed, he was extradited, tried, and imprisoned. And in 2022, he died in a U.S. prison hospital, the high finance king, slipping away far from the palaces he had once funded.
Hector Beltrán Leyva, the heart attack in the cell.
Once part of a feared quartet that split Mexico's underworld, Hector rose in his brother's shadow, and later led a vengeful organization. Arrested in 2014, he never regained the streets. In November 2018, chest pains turned fatal. A prison transfer to a hospital ended with a reported heart attack. A boss hardened by war died in an ordinary emergency room. A reminder that even the ruthless can be felled by fragile flesh. These were the kings and queens of the cartel world. They ruled with fear, fire, and blood. But the ending is always the same: betrayal, bullets, or a cold cell. In the narco world, one truth stands: no one stays king forever,